Welcome to the Talk to You Later show. This is Alex Hicken and Trevor's here. We have an exciting episode here for the Talk to You Later show. Trevor got his PS5, and I'm gonna hear his first impressions of it. I'm kind of excited about that. He's been playing his PlayStation 4 pretty steadily, so he could probably feel a lot of interesting things. What have you noticed so far?
I got the PS5 console shipped in to me on Friday afternoon around like 2 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So I opened up the box around like 4, and it was surprisingly huge. The TV I have is like 49 inch, and when you have the console set up on the left side of it, like I have it vertically because it makes more sense to have it set up vertically. It takes the height of the TV, like half the height up to it, and a little more. So it's a big system. Comparatively to the PS4, which is a little smaller. So far, I've noticed a lot of little things that kind of differentiate the next gen from the last generation. When you boot it up, there's hardly, even from just power, there's hardly any weight. And you're taken to like 4K home screen instead of a 1080p resolution. So everything's crisp, and everything is like split second. So when you click into a game, you don't have any wait. The way you get around to the dashboard is a little quicker. It took a little getting used to, because in the PS4, it's kind of like a phone. You push your home button and you get taken back to your home screen. But in the PS5, when you push the home button, it brings up like a multitask bar at the bottom. So you can see your different settings, your mic, your battery level for your controller, or if you want to turn off the console. And then there's a little area on the left side that shows switcher. So switchers are the open apps you have open or you can switch to. So let's say I was watching something on YouTube. If I push the home button, I can switch to my game, or switch to the store if I want to check out a new game I want to buy. So it's like an even faster way to navigate. If you want to go back to the home screen, if you hold down the home button, the PlayStation logo on your controller, it brings you back to like what would be your like desktop, your home screen. Yeah. And then the other part that makes the console feel like a next generation is the controller. The DualSense controller. It's basically the same size as a DualShock 4, but they extend the handle out a little bit longer, so you have a little better grip. And it seems like where the joysticks are in the PS4's controller, the DualShock 4, it's like filled in there. They kind of enlarge the little touchpad in the middle. They moved out the buttons closer to your thumbs for the start and share buttons. And the biggest things I'd say probably the rumble is a lot more creative. You can feel rumbles all throughout the controller instead of just like 2 or 3 massive rumbles on each side. It's all throughout your controller. It's like a like HD rumble, I think that they called it in the Switch. It's a similar idea. They put kind of like what they had in the Switch Pro controller. It's like that, but maybe a little better on the DualSense. And then the other thing that they changed is adaptive triggers. So they can change and add depending on what kind of resistance they want you to feel on. Let's say you're playing Spider-Man. They have a resistance to, let's say you shoot your web and you hit onto the wall, so it attaches. But then as soon as it attaches and you swing, the controller will add more resistance to the trigger, so it feels like you were like holding onto a rope or something. So it feels like you're actually swinging instead of just like holding a trigger. So there's little things like that create a new experience compared to the PS4 Pro. I haven't played Spider-Man yet or any big next-gen games yet. Played Bug Snacks, which is a little humorous game. It's kind of like Pokemon. Alex played a little Astro's Playroom. I think he enjoyed the experience there. Seems like there's a lot of motion controls there. Do you have anything about your first impressions playing that?
I haven't played PlayStation 4 for years, so the experience is not that new or fresh for me. I think it's a good new standard. I played the Astro's Playroom. I was surprised how long the episode was. I kind of liked how interactive it is. The little touchscreen in the middle is kind of a unique. I was able to use that as like a slingshot type thing to pull back, and the resistance is not really felt like you would probably feel in the right and the left button, but you kind of feel the resistance in the haptics as you feel it a little bit, and so that was a little interesting. But since I haven't been playing with the controller in so long, I don't think it's like I don't have much to compare it to. Yeah, so Trevor, do you have much 4K content in your video games?
Not really. It looks like Astro Boy Playroom was 4K. The other games I play are usually 1080, like Overwatch, or I think Apex Legends is up to 4K. I haven't played that in a while though. I'm probably gonna get the Miles Morales game, so maybe next week I can give details on that. One of the things that the PS5 hardware allows you to do is an add-in to games is ray tracing, which instead of placing lights and shade throughout the world in the games you play, you can add with the better hardware. It allows you to put sources. So if you put like a source, let's say in a room, or you can put the sun as a source, then the engine and the software can create how light would naturally look coming from those sources. So it looks more realistic. And I haven't played games with that ever, so it'd be really cool to interact and see how light and objects look comparatively to older generation. Because it seems like the lighting in older generations they're stagnant, they don't move. But maybe if you have like moving light sources or reflections like water, it will look a lot cleaner, better. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, Trevor, the main game that you play is Overwatch. What differences have you noticed from that gameplay.
Yeah. I haven't noticed any clear like distinctions besides loading speeds because it's not a PS5 optimized game, so it's not like much they can do. But like when I load in to a match, it usually shows like what map it is to a background. But now when it loads in, it doesn't even like maybe a split second it shows the background. But now it just sends me to the character select screen, and I can look at that for a while. Yeah, it's pretty funny because before you'd see the screen like, oh, you're going to, I don't know, Vizcaya Industries or Gibraltar, and it shows you like a it shows you like a background of render of what it could look like, and then it loads you in.
So you don't know where you're going sometimes?
No, there's an announcer that says where you're going, so. Yeah, I feel like maybe the frames per second are faster because it seems like everything, maybe it's the controller is more sensitive than the joysticks. It seems like everything's snappier. Like I have to get used to a controller and DualSense. Like, I can like pinpoint every movement just by a slight movement on my thumb. So it's pretty crazy. It's like using a mouse, but it's on your thumb now. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing they added into the PS5 hardware is a dedicated sound chip. And with that chip, they can decode and encode the audio. So with this generation, they've created a new 3D sound engine called a Tempest 3D engine. So it makes sound like you're within the environment instead of being like blasted at you. So it's a little change. I feel like it makes my headphones like completely different headphones. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So like my headphones sound like a lot, feels like more bass, like it's more surrounded sound, like I can hear a little more distance between each sound. If it's closer, it feels closer to my ear. If it's farther out, it's like it sounds like it's coming from a farther source.
That sounds like the main nude thing when you play, and how snappy the controller is.
Yeah. So that's my first impressions of the PS5 on Overwatch.